Welcome back, and we're talking the significance of Egypt's participation in the second edition of the Russian-African Summit. Always an honor and pleasure to have with us Professor Dr. Sherif Amer, Professor of International Relations. Dr. Sherif, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, holding the second edition of the Russia-Africa Summit at this important timing, as we can see it hitting headlines, Dr. Sherif, and attracting global attention. So the significance of the timing, in your opinion?
Well, the significance is very clear to all the international community that Egypt is dealing with all the partners in the world. We have a balanced relationship with all the countries. Concerning Russia, we have historical relations since the 1960s, the past century, and up till now. And we have very important projects with our partners and dear friends in Russia concerning the nuclear plant, especially the nuclear plant, concerning many parts of the investment and other sectors, also in the security and military cooperation. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is emphasizing this message to the whole world that we would not participate in any alliances against Russia or against anyone, because we need to work towards international peace. And all the African countries are present there also to share this message, and Egypt is the leading country to carry the voice of Africa around the world.
Definitely, Dr. Sherif. Well, it comes timely, as we've said, attracting global attention. With the new geopolitical conditions, we find that Africa today is becoming one also of the priorities of Russia's foreign policy. So how do you see the interest in Africa and the geopolitical hemisphere, the different conditions that have a lot changed?
Well, we all know the past colonial history in Africa, and there was always this tension between the Western Bloc, our partners in Africa, partners in Europe, and also the United States. It was very unbalanced relationship. It was a relationship of dependence on the West. Russia is having a new strategy that we are equal partners, that we will inaugurate projects on your own continent. It's not that lending money and then we will have to make some political favors to the West. This is different. This is equal partnership that preserves our sovereignty. And that's what Egypt called for many years ago, and President Sisi called for it many times, that the sovereignty of the African countries has to be respected. And I think that this summit should be a clear message to Washington and Brussels, which is the EU, that all what we want is equal relationship. We don't want the superiority. We don't want this unbalanced relationship. I think that President Vladimir Putin was very smart in his strategy, and he had also Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov touring Africa. He has made this kind of contact with all the African leaders, which is the result that we're seeing today, that everyone is at St. Petersburg from the African leaders attending this conference. We are all looking forward for the cooperation. I think that many European countries will understand today that, yes, as you said, there is a new geopolitical map. They have to accept it. There is new world order which is shaping. There is the theory of the Eurasia, means that there is hotspots or power spots in every region: Egypt, Turkey, Algeria, South Africa, Brazil. We are powers in our regions, and they have to accept that. There is no one superpower. This would be over. And President Sisi is working with his counterpart, President Vladimir Putin, on emphasizing that. And let me add another point, is that today there was a significant declaration about the grains the grains that the people saying that Russia would cause devastation now by retreating from the accord of the grains from Ukraine and Turkey. Well, today there is talks with President Sisi about inaugurating a huge project on the land of Egypt to store these grains and distribute to Africa. This puts Egypt on the top of the distribution of grains in the world. Yes. And this shows that Russia wasn't aiming to starving the countries. We have now Egypt as the hub of grains instead of Turkey, and this would put us in a very, very developed position. And there is another point also, which I thought that President Putin was very smart by doing it, that before meeting President Sisi, he met the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, that for talking about the crisis of the Renaissance Dam, because we have to find a solution for that. So I think there is a huge harmony between both leaders, a huge harmony between Egypt's foreign policy and Russia's foreign policy. We are aiming towards equal relationship. We are underlining this, and we are making clear, very clear to the whole world, there is no one superpower, there is no one superiority, there is equal relationship, there is partnership. Everyone in this world needs another country to support its politics.
Yes. Dr. Amer, well, a final question, if we would say, what sort of opportunities will this important summit open for Africa? What would be the fruits of this high-level communication with Russia at the second Russia-Africa summit?
Look, we all know that Russia is present in Africa. This is not a new thing. I think it will contribute in solving many conflicts. They're present in Sudan through the Wagner paramilitary group. They're present in Mali. They contributed in fighting terrorism. So this is the security part. They're doing a good job in it. The second part, as I told, and also they're present in Libya. As I told you also, the project, they're doing projects inside Africa. So this would help the economy, the African economy. And the last and third point, as I told you also, about the Renaissance Dam, they will contribute in solving crisis that had that no one, even the UN, didn't try to solve it. So I think that Russian mediation would be very important in that.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Sherif Amer, Professor of International Relations, for talking to Nile TV International. Thank you.